we've gotten some Mike Flanagan news for you guys and some big stuff. Obviously, everybody kind of knows this was one of the bigger stories towards the end of the last week. We are talking about Life of Chuck. Mike Flanagan announces incredible full cast, including our boy, Matthew Lillard.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. My voice is cracking at the thought. But this one, sitting through Five Nights at Freddy's and kind of, being underwhelmed with that, and maybe the usage of
It's not
Lillard,
enough.
no matter how great he is on screen. It's just one of those things where you want Matthew Lillard to have a prominent role in some sort of horror property. The guy's a treasure. He's fantastic. And you really want to see his range because, I mean, of course, everyone uses the Scream photo, and being able to see him as Stu. I mean, again, anytime we talk Scream, everyone wants him back. But, just the release of this all-star cast, is just wild. Being able to sit through Fall House of Usher and speak so highly of that, and then coming right off the heels of that. I don't know too much about this property, Life of Chuck. I know, again, Stephen King property. I know the little excerpts that I checked, the little blurbs of what the concept is. Seems like I don't know how can go either way in terms of how far we dive into the horror realm, or we kind of get into a little bit more dramatic piece. Obviously it's Mike Flanagan. He's going to have some horror undertones there. I'm curious to see what this is going to look like because, the story seems interesting enough. Doesn't really jump out 100% as true horror. I think there are going to be elements in there, but this cast really has goosebumps. I'm really excited for it.
I agree. I mean, there's a lot of big names on this list. There's so many people that I'm shocked in some ways, but also, of course, many returning, players for Mike Flanagan. The dude has just the most consistent Rolodex of actors out there, and I mean, it pays off damn near every time. Obviously, we all expect Kate Siegel. She's going to be in there. She's a gem. But then also, we're getting back Carl Lumbly. Obviously, Raul Coley is going to be in this one. Love that. And then a few others that have popped up in his stuff, including Mark Hamill is coming back, which we loved him in Fall of the House of Usher. Absolutely loved his performance. But I mean, some of these new players too, man. David DeSchmalten, I mean, that's fucking great. I love that. Harvey Gillian, if you've never seen What We Do in the Shadows, a TV show, Luke, highly recommend it. And then, obviously another one that we love is Violet McGraw is going to be in this thing. I mean, that's just those names alone. And then you add on Matthew Lillard. Of course, Jacob Tremblay has worked with him before. And then Tom Hiddleston. We all love him. And Karen Gillan's great. And Chiwetel Ejiofor as well. I mean, the list just goes on.
Yeah, and we did our Fall House of Usher review, and one of the big shining lights we talked about was the usage of his cast and how he makes such great use of their range and kind of gives them that connective tissue in that story. In looking at this, yes, do I think this property is going to be great? Absolutely. I have no reason to believe otherwise. But also, what I'm looking at here, as Dylan just mentioned, I mean, Mark Hamill's returning. Some of his usual suspects are going to be in here. And to see Flanagan, build this lineup of, yes, Matthew Lillard's in this, but he could potentially be in the next Mike Flanagan property, and kind of being able to, you kind of salivate at the potential performances that we will get just because of the inception of the Life of Chuck, and bringing that property to television, and then seeing what else what's on the horizon there. So I'm really curious to see, is this the sort of a working relationship with Matthew Lillard, with Heather Langenkamp, and kind of bringing these players that we've seen in the horror space from the 80s, from the 90s, really bringing them back into the fold here, and seeing what other performances we're going to get. Because, one of the big shining lights from Fall House Usher was Mark Hamill, and we didn't know how that was going to turn out. That was something that was completely new, a new relationship between Mike Flanagan and Mark Hamill. And I mean, what a great performance Mark Hamill gave. So I'm excited to see him back here. I'm even more excited to see what other performances we're going to get, that we're going to be talking about after we see this actual, come to light, and we're able to sit down and drink it all in a sense. I'm really excited for this. As soon as this is one of the big things where when they start announcing casting for Mike Flanagan properties, I mean, that instantly gets you hyped. I don't even need to know the subject matter right off the hand. I just need to know the cast.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely he's one of the people in this industry right now who just gets the best out of his actors. And I mean, like, I looking through just some more of the cast here of just like his usual suspects. Obviously, I'm sure that we're gonna get a little Henry Thomas, and it would break my heart if an actor I really want to see more from. I think he's just wonderful as Robert Longstreet. Very minor role in Fall of the House of Usher, but when he's there, he's great. And yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Hamish Linklater come back too at some point. Hasn't yet. We're only one property removed right now, but if it's not this, hopefully another series soon. Because man, like that character that he portrayed in Midnight Mass, it's just like I don't he Mike Flanagan does this thing where it's like he writes characters. Him and his team they write and produce characters that are just meant for actors, and that character was meant for Hamish Linklater, in my opinion. Like nobody else could play that character.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like looking at Mike Flanagan properties, I don't think there is another director out there. I mean, there are a lot of great directors, but I can say consistently gives these performances of scenes that I just want to live in. Where it's like I can watch this on rerun. I mean, Midnight Mass has it, Fall House of Usher has it. I can guarantee Life of Chuck's gonna have it. I'm just overly excited here. This can't come soon enough. I don't know how much what page count this is in terms of the actual source material. So I don't know how much room he has to play. I know it is a short story,
It
but I don't
is. I
know
was gonna
how.
say it's in If It Bleeds, I believe, is
Yeah,
the anthology.
yeah.
So
So I'm assuming he's going to be able to have a lot of room to play here, and I think that's Mike Flanagan at his best when he doesn't have to cram in so much source material. So I'm definitely excited for this one from the cast, and just to see what he's going to do next.
yeah, I think that there's a lot of elements in here that are just right up Mike Flanagan's alley. I did just kind of eyeball a little bit of this. I know we talked about it at one point, but I know you said you don't know much about the property, and I don't either. But it is kind of neat here, just so we can kind of get some, I want to say some Hill House vibes from this story, but it is, in the sense, a story about a man who dies of a brain tumor at 39 and ending with his childhood in a supposedly haunted house. So that is very interesting to me, kind of running through that moments of, when you die, life flashes before your eyes. If there's anybody I think who can handle that material, it's Mike Flanagan.